Hey there, and welcome into Main Street Living. I'm Danielle Alvari.
Hey guys, I'm Quincy Carr.
I'm Cheryl Nelson. So good to see you guys. And I think one thing we can all agree on across much of the country, it is hot. What are you guys doing to stay cool?
Staying inside.
Yes, I'm doing a bad job because I've actually been going to Vegas for work a little bit, and that is the opposite of trying to beat the heat. But they do have a lot of great air conditioning there, I will say.
That is nice. I'm jealous though, because that's considered a drier heat than what we have on the East Coast with all the humidity. And recently I was at Penn State for a little meteorology reunion and we got a tour to see the changes on campus. But guys, it was so hot. The Nittany Lion, we were all sweaty climbing up of it, trying to get a picture. And then after that, we said, that's it. We got to cool off. So we made our way to the Penn State Creamery. And as you can see there, got some ice cream. And there's so many fun flavors to choose from.
Well, look at you. You took advantage of how hot it was and cooled off a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. The air conditioning, certainly something that we enjoyed as well. And guys, speaking of travel, you know I always love it. And coming up on the show today, we're going to show you where you can ride an actual steamboat. Yeah, we're going to let you in on our little secret and also explore how you can combine travel with art.
Ooh, and look, it looks like someone's finally paying attention to people like me. We have our own day, middle child.
The middle child of the show. We're also going to visit with the Cox Tech Tank and the San Diego Food Bank to see how they're helping out our seniors.
Lots of good stuff. But first, do you know how to drought-proof your yard? This is something a lot of people might have to think about. We'll learn more coming up next.
Hey guys, welcome back to Main Street Living. Now, Cheryl, Danielle, most of us are lucky enough to take our access to water for granted. But with much of the country experiencing record high temperatures and record-breaking droughts, I think it's time that we all thought a little harder about our water use.
Yeah, it's a really big issue, Quincy. And one big push over the past few years has been to convince homeowners to trade out their lawns for landscaping that requires less water. I've investigated this before, and it's pretty cool. Pam Meisner with San Diego's Water Conservation Garden is an expert in this space, and we're excited to have her here. Welcome to Main Street Living.
Well, thanks for having me. I don't know how much of an expert, but I can sure talk about it.
Oh, just own it. Own the title. We're going to call you the expert. And many areas of the country are experiencing a severe drought. And, you know, this is not something to laugh about. It's a serious matter. And how much of our water supply goes to irrigate our yards and landscaping? I think people may be surprised by this.
You're right. You know, we do take water for granted most of the time. However, in Southern California, especially, but now all throughout all of the country, with climate change and lots of different things happening, we are in a real pickle with the use of water and how we can get it. And just to give you a little bit of a ratio of how much water we use about 40% of our water bill goes to outdoor water use, about 40%.
And obviously we know using less water outside would make a huge difference, but people still want to have a beautiful yard. So how do you make that happen?
And that can happen. I'm here to tell you. And the Water Conservation Garden is the place that demonstrates that. We are a demonstration garden. And most people, when you say drought tolerant, what do they think of? Cactus, rock, dead half the year, right? Gray. I am here to dispel that rumor. There are so many drought tolerant plants and native plants, and there is a difference between both of those, but drought tolerant plants that are lush and beautiful. People in Southern California, they kind of want that tropical look, right? Well, we certainly don't have the rainfall for that at all. But what we can do is imitate that through certain plants, the right kind of soil, the correct use of mulch, and the right plant choice. And you can have the green and lush and flowering landscapes all year long.
What is the difference between native and drought tolerant plants? And what are some other plants that maybe people could plant there that would still look nice?
So a native plant is a plant that originated from where you are, from where it is. And it has naturally is able to adapt to the soil conditions, the weather conditions, and things like that. And that was the plant that was originally here. A drought tolerant plant is a plant that we may have brought here, like a palm tree or some other plants here. And because over time, it has been able to adapt to the drier conditions, the less water, the intense heat, and it has learned to adapt to this. Bird of paradise, beautiful plant, right? Kind of does look tropical. And it's a low water use plant. Now, any plant, when you first plant it, needs water. And once it's established, it can become drought tolerant. So don't think drought tolerant means no water.
Okay.
It just means less water and usually less maintenance. So drought tolerant is a good way to go kind of all around. Grass, lawns, turf, now they are the thirstiest plant ever. And so it takes a lot of water to have a really nice looking lawn here in Southern California. So we are giving people many, many different ideas of how to make a beautiful space that's green, that's lush, and still saves water.
Well, we know that the Water Conservation Garden in San Diego County, where you work, has been helping people save water and have beautiful outdoor spaces for 30 years. What's the garden like, and what are some of the programs that you offer?
Sure. The garden is a little over 5 acres. And as I mentioned earlier, it's a demonstration garden, but it's a beautiful place to walk. It's almost like a park. And not only do we offer a lot of education and a lot of little vignettes of different types of plants, different looks, unique ways to water capture, all of those things. But it is a great place for wellness. We do a lot of yoga classes, and post-pandemic, let me just tell you, being outside is more important now than it ever has been. So a lot of times we offer nature therapy here. We offer classes and workshops on irrigation, how to plant on a hillside, toss the turf, which is how to replace your turf. We have cooking classes. We have a chef that comes by.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a beautiful environment. And we have a very large children's program called Miss Smarty Plants, and that would be me. And we educate and inspire mostly our youth to save the earth by doing lots of conservation methods, especially water.
Oh my gosh, I love that. What a perfect title. And this is so important. I wish we had more time to chat with you, but our viewers can always learn more online. So where can they go?
They can go to thegarden.org. And there is just so much stuff. If you are close by, please come and visit. You will not be sorry. And there's a lot of references and resources and things like that on our website to help you out too. And I'm always available.
Oh, thank you so much. Of
course. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. This has been wonderful.
Well, let's keep the learning going, learning about obviously conserving water. And next, we are going to help our seniors become a little bit more tech savvy. Welcome back into Main Street Living. Now, over the past couple of decades, technology and the internet have become an integral part of our everyday lives. And trying to get by in today's world without them can make life very challenging.
Yeah, that's right. And helping to bridge the digital divide has been very important to Cox for many years. But the divide isn't only an economic gap, and get that right, it's also a generational one too.
Yeah, which is why Cox has partnered with San Diego Oasis to launch the Cox Tech Tank and get our older neighbors up to speed on today's latest technology. Take a look.
Cox and San Diego Oasis have partnered for a number of years now. We've got a great relationship. I know that here at Oasis, they are really passionate about making sure that their population is up to date on current technology.
The application should look like a little pin.
So the Cox Tech Tank came about after a lot of discussions about how we could tailor support for older Americans. They could come to Oasis, and Cox at the Tech Tank would be able to support them with any questions that they may have had at their speed in an area that's comfortable for them.
And then you have to go until you find privacy.
Right now, technology is such a desired topic for older adults and people in general, but specifically older adults, especially after the pandemic. We realize that there's a big gap in helping these folks learn what they need to know to connect to family, friends, doctors, other people in the community. So this partnership is allowing us to provide that technology learning that people desire. It gives people the opportunity to have hands-on application, have their questions answered in one-on-one sessions so that they can have that individual time. We have these wonderful demonstrations that people can come in and learn about things just that everyone wants to know. Internet, streaming services, stuff that gets you through your everyday life.
What we talked about is Lyft and Uber. When I grew up, we had a bat and a ball and a glove, and we went out in the field. That was our recreation. Nowadays, kids are doing this. It's just the way it is. That's where we have evolved. And you can become conversant here when you take courses like are offered here and expose yourself to the high quality of information imparted as well as the instructors.
Okay. All right, so we'll go back to search here.
Yeah, but when you're using maps, it's important that you push that button because that button is red right now. It should be blue.
That's our present location.
Yes. I help the members that come in here with specific questions or issues that they may have with technology, and I can give them individual one-on-one help. I can also do workshops that are focused on a single topic like Google Maps, Bluetooth, Uber, and go over them how to use the application.
Our goal at Cox is really to make sure that we're building connections that are meaningful. And what we wanted to do at the Cox Tech Tank is we really wanted to make sure that no one was left behind and that they can continue making those important connections.
Ladies, it is so good to always see Cox is closing the gap between seniors as well as the ever-changing world of technology.
Absolutely. And you can get more information or sign up for one of the many Tech Tank classes at san-diego.oasisnet.org.
Kudos to them, so needed. And coming up on Main Street Living, we are going to explain how you can mix two of my favorite things, travel and art. Stay with us.
Welcome back into Main Street Living. Now, guys, while we may each have different ideas about our favorite forms of art, we can all agree that our days are so much more colorful and interesting when the arts are part of our life.
Oh, it's so true, Danielle. And Randy Cohen with Americans for the Arts is incorporating art into your everyday life and also your vacation plans. I'm all about this. Welcome to Main Street Living.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Yes. So most of us have probably heard of the organization Americans for the Arts, but may not understand exactly what you do. So what is the mission of Americans for the Arts?
Americans for the Arts, we are a national organization, and we're looking to connect every American to the arts, to make sure everyone has the opportunity to attend, to create, and to make sure all of our kids in all of our schools have access to a quality arts education.
Yeah, what a quality arts education, and I'm digging the tie that you got on.
Thank
I
you.
love it.
That is artist made. You're talking about, artists and summer and tourism and wearable art.
Ooh, I gotta say something. Speaking of wearable art, how about functional art?
Look at
I
Cheryl.
was just at an art gallery when I was up at Penn State, and I bought these glasses, and they're made from Milano glass. Isn't that
Wow.
gorgeous?
Beautiful,
Yeah.
Look
beautiful.
at that. Well, you're coming back bearing gifts of art, Cheryl. But Randy, I have to ask you. Art is really important. It's a part of life, and it can be found in many places, as well as many ways beyond just going out to a play or even to a museum. So talk a little bit about what are some of the easy ways to incorporate art into our everyday lives.
Well, those glasses are the perfect example. I mean, the
Aw.
arts can just completely infuse our life and cut across everything we do, individually, as a family, for pleasure, in the workplace. But I gotta tell you, an easiest thing, take a class. I remember one summer, when the kids were young, they took a ceramics class. It was, summer,
Ooh.
and it sounded like so much fun. We all signed up for one, and we did it as a family. And when the kids left home, those glorious empty nest days, my wife and I took up ballroom dancing, and we started dancing together. And one of the interesting things during the pandemic, because talk about all this like maker experience, and there's arts maker spaces in our communities. There's been a huge growth in the share of the population um, making art. How many people like got ordered the ukulele online, or and so I'll tell you what I did. I took up knitting. I always wanted to try knitting, and I had the aunts and the grandma, I just loved the little click and clack of those needles, and um and I would make like the world's longest scarf. I was just like up and down, up and down. There's like a line of giraffes out front because I was the only one making a scarf long enough to wrap it around those necks. But um, it's great, and all around our communities, summer especially. There's just arts events, plays and exhibitions and public art, and of course concerts. A lot of them are free in summer.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. And one thing I really love is all the art festivals too. I love buying things like the jewelry, earrings. I actually bought these earrings at an art festival from somebody who made them. This is glass as well. I guess I have a thing for glass. But it's all really pretty. And we're still in summer vacation season. In my mind, it doesn't end. So what are some other ideas for adding some more art to our lives?
There's obviously there's all the arts making, and but it's really easy just to find all the kind of events that are happening. But what I find fascinating is sort of where you find the unexpected art experience. And so I'm in the DC area, and one of the things we have every summer is called Opera in the Outfield, and it's at our baseball stadium. And on an away date, they do a live simulcast of an opera on the big screen. And you can sit on the grass, you can sit in the bleachers, the concession stands are open. I was going to say, would you rather have a chili dog and a beer when you're watching the opera? And 20,000 people show up to that. And they do that, in Dallas and San Francisco, and or if maybe you're going away this summer, right, and you're taking a trip or something, like passing through North Carolina, for example, check the North Carolina Arts Commission, and they
Ooh.
have these arts trails and music trails, and basically you can kind of build a 3, 4, 5 day trip. There's one called African American Music Trails of Eastern North Carolina, and it's
Yeah.
across 8 counties.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and it's everything you need there. It's like, here's the great art and when things are happening, and here's where to stay, here's where to eat.
Oh, it's
So
perfect. And
the
we're in Virginia.
packaging.
So Quincy and I are in Virginia, so it's not that far.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're just a drive down there. And you can see a lot of communities, a lot of areas will do this. So honestly, just look up like arts trails near me, or arts and culture trails. And
Hmm.
so like, seems like you love glass art. And up in the Northwest, I remember a few years ago, there they are, the glasses, the earrings. They had this a trail of glass artists across Oregon,
Ooh.
Washington, and even up into Canada. And you're just like, hey, let's make a 5 day trip, and so
Hmm.
there's a lot of ways to do it.
Yeah, well, like one idea that has gained a lot of attention lately is the cultural heritage tourism. Now, what exactly is that, and how does it actually enhance the vacation?
So cultural tourists are basically anyone who enjoys a destination's history, heritage, the art, tradition, the music, the food, culinary tourism, literature, architecture, and it's it really, the art and heritage and the culture are what create these authentic cultural experiences. When we travel somewhere, right? We want to see what's going on. And I'll tell you, the research is interesting, whether it's international travelers or domestic travelers. Folks are looking for authentic cultural travel
Mm.
experiences. And so basically, I think of it as it's often the answer to the question of what's the one place I should eat, when I'm in
Ah,
town,
yes.
and where do the locals like to hang out? And and some cities offer tours like of their neighborhoods and the art and the history and the heritage. And I remember cultural and heritage tourism. A number of years back, there was a White House conference on cultural tourism because it's a big thing. It's about community development, it's economic development. And Garrison Keillor was the speaker, and he basically said all tourism is cultural tourism.
Yes. Oh, I'm so glad you said that because that's one thing that I love to work into wherever I go is just diving into the culture, getting to know the people, asking a lot of questions. And what are some additional resources that people can use to look things up before we go?
Our we used to have to depend on travel agents. I don't know. I'm old enough to remember travel agents. I don't know if
Hey, me too.
everybody
Me too.
else
I
is.
still
All
use
right,
them.
good, good. But now the search engines are just our best friends because, like, you could go just type in visit Topeka or what to do in Sioux Falls this summer or free outdoor
Yes.
concerts in Danbury. I was just up in Connecticut,
Oh
and
my
these are all
God.
things I've checked.
Danbury. I
And
have family there.
yeah, and you know what? Type it up and you'll find all kinds of events. And so
Ooh.
it's so easy to find and it's so easy to plan now. Um and it's so that's just, again, just the technology and the search engines are just our best friends. And you can find a little bit what's off the beaten path too,
Yeah.
um and come back with those. And it's those stories, right? You want to come back with the stories. We live in an experience economy, and we want to travel, and we're taking the selfies, and here's where we ate, and here's what we did, and
Here's
Well,
what we bought.
yeah,
Mhm.
well, Randy, because we definitely got to go, but talking about the technologies, how can viewers find more information and or get involved in Americans for the arts?
so Americans for the Arts, there it is. It's the website, americansforthearts.org. Go to our website. You'll find all kinds of information about the arts. You can also go to artsactionfund.org if you want to learn a little bit more about the arts and how we keep those organizations going too. So you've always got great arts and culture as your
Yay.
destination.
You're fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. All right, Cheryl. Well, we're just rolling through this show, and let's make sure this trip continues. So we're gonna roll down the river, Nolan
Rolling,
style.
rolling.
Nolan style. We'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back to Main Street Living. Now, Danielle, based on what you were telling us earlier in the show, I know that you're out traveling, and Cheryl, you're out beating the heat, of course. Are you taking any more trips?
You know me, I'm always on the go. I've got a trip for a weather conference, a family reunion. I'm always doing something. And every city or part of the country has attractions that make that place special. And those are often the experiences that really make a trip memorable.
If you're anywhere near New Orleans, be sure to book your cruise on one of the city's fabled paddle boats like the Steamboat Natchez. Take a look.
Steamboat Natchez number 9. So we do 3 trips a day here in the beautiful Port of New Orleans. The Natchez you're here looking at today is the 9th Natchez. and it's named after a tribe of Indians in Natchez, Mississippi. And she was designed just what she's doing today, to run 3 trips a day, 2-hour cruises. The Natchez has been doing this same ride up and down the Mississippi since 1975. One of 2 steamboats left on the inland waters of the United States. She's a true steam sternwheeler. The engines aboard the Natchez are actually older than the rest of the vessel. These old engines are 94 years old. That powers the Natchez paddle wheel. The Natchez paddle wheel weighs 33 tons, and it's built out of white oak and steel. That big paddle wheel back there is the only means of propulsion through the water. It's turned by 2 big steam engines. These engines are horizontal piston-driven engines. That paddle wheel, 100%, pushes the Natchez through the Mississippi River. We have no propellers on the Natchez, no props. Just that big paddle wheel back there does it all. Underneath that paddle wheel, 3 big 17-foot rudders. They're forward of the wheel. Those big rudders is what steers the Natchez up and down the Mississippi.
We are on the roof of the steamboat Natchez here in New Orleans. The Natchez is one of only a few steam-powered vessels left in the United States today, and we are equipped with an authentic steam organ, or steam piano, better known as a calliope. We play for 15 minutes before people board, and anyone within the French Quarter or within a mile or 2 can hear it, and we'll come down to the river to see what's going on.
The next time you're in New Orleans, come see the steamboat Natchez or one of our other trips.
Okay, I'm adding a trip to my list, and the calliope organ, how cool is that, guys? The sound, the lights, sign me up.
Oh yeah, I would definitely be
beautiful in the water.
Oh, yes.
Yes, the attraction will pick us up from nearby everywhere, and you can find more information and book your cruise on the steamboatnatchez.com.
And I'm sorry to talk over you, Quincy, but that's probably something you're used to as a middle child. But coming up next, are you also a middle child? Stick around.
Welcome back to Main Street Living. Danielle, Quincy, there are so many theories about how we become who we are. Nature, nurture, astrological signs, and yes, even birth order. And guys, there may be something to the birth order theory, because as an oldest child myself, I do have many of the characteristics that are usually associated with oldest children, and I don't think that's a bad thing.
That's until you talk to a middle child like myself. Okay, Cheryl. All right, now I'm super excited to bring some much needed attention to this serious issue and the challenges facing middle children and the man working to make life better for those who were born in the middle as well. Let's welcome Bruce Hopman, founder of the International Middle Child Union. How you doing there, Bruce?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on the show. Now, most of us probably didn't realize, including myself, August 12th is Middle Child's Day. Can you tell us a little bit about how that came to be?
Sure, I can. Well, so there's some conflicting stories as to how it all started. One story has a woman named Elizabeth Walker, founded it in 1986 to, kind of give attention to the middle children. As we're always saying, we don't get enough attention. A few years ago, I received an email from somebody else who told me their aunt discovered it. If you actually go on the internet, there are some people who are actually crediting me with inventing Middle Child's Day. I did not invent it. I'm just trying to raise awareness of it because I found it extremely ironic that we were given a holiday that nobody pays attention to. It's like they gave it to us just so they could ignore it.
I was going to say, kind of goes with the theme that nobody's getting any credit for coming up with it, really. So, nevertheless, this is the 10th anniversary of the International Middle Child Union. How are you planning to celebrate the 10th anniversary?
So for 10 years ago, we started this whole thing by trying to raise awareness for Middle Child's Day by having a strike. And obviously, if you're going to have a strike, you need to have a union. So I formed the International Middle Child Union. And every year since, we've tried to many different ways to kind of raise awareness. None of them extremely successful, or I wouldn't be here today still trying to make people aware of Middle Child's Day. So I thought after 10 years of trying, we should celebrate all that we haven't accomplished. So we're going to do a retrospective of things that we've done over the years on my blog. But I will be spending this Child's Day Middle Child's Day like I do every other Middle Child's Day, which is trying to get the word out there so that people know there is a Middle Child's Day.
All right. Well, so the question I have is what would be an appropriate way to celebrate with the middle child in your life?
Well, okay. So the best thing you could do for a middle child on Middle Child's Day is acknowledge their existence, pay them some attention. It's what we're always asking for. So give them a call. You might forget their birthday. Don't forget Middle Child's Day. Give them a call. Let them know you're thinking of them. To make that easier, again, at the blog, I'm releasing later this week our 7th edition of Middle Child's Day greeting cards. And they're very topical. This year we've covered some topics like inflation and the pandemic and politics, but they're funny Middle Child's Day greeting cards. You could just email it directly from the blog to the favorite middle children in your life.
Well, my guilt is just building throughout this interview, so I can't wait to send Quincy one because he's the middle child in my life. But I know that you have other ways you're spreading awareness as well. Tell us a little bit about your Middletown Outreach Program.
Middle Child Outreach Program. I started because I realized there are towns all around the world named Middletown, and then you have towns named Middleburg and Middle River, and I figured, why don't I reach out to their government bodies, to the mayors and council people of those towns, and try to get them to make official proclamations acknowledging Middle Child's Day. It was semi-successful. I think we got maybe 25, 26 towns around the country and around the world to do that. This year, I'm reaching out actually to an entire country. It's not a very big country. I'm reaching out to the Prime Minister of New Zealand. And we have a little thing going there. And we might have some news about New Zealand officially acknowledging Middle Child's Day, which would be great.
Wow. Well, Bruce, I mean, you and I both know what it's like being a middle child. But for the people like your Danielles and your other folks, can you explain why do they need a union?
Well, we need So one of the traits of being a middle child is feeling that you're left out, left alone, left behind. The firstborn comes and it's wow, this new experience. We're parents. We have all this time to spend with this child. Second child comes along and, it's simple math. There's not as much time to spend with the second child. And what a lot of people also don't realize is you can be a middle child. There could be 2 or 3 middle children in a family, depending how big the family is. If you're not the firstborn or the lastborn, you're a middle child. So every child after the first is also a middle child. But then the last one comes along, Danielle. I'm sure you're familiar with this. And it's we're not going to have any more kids. This is it. The other kids are older now.
Finally, the perfect one was born. Yes.
You have more time to spend with that child. So feeling left out is the biggest, the biggest issue I think that we experience.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want you guys to feel left out. I don't want any viewers to feel left out. So where can they find more or join the International Middle Child Union?
All right. So joining the International Middle Child Union is easy. Just, follow me on Twitter at MidKidMusings. Go to the blog, subscribe to the blog. We have a YouTube channel also, which has a lot of middle child videos. We have Christmas videos and Easter videos and videos for all kinds of holidays. Music videos. The Middle Child Anthem is there. So there's a lot of fun stuff you'll find at the blog, on YouTube, or on Twitter. And, just follow and you're in. We're not that selective. Anybody who wants in, you're in.
All
Nice.
right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Bruce. We appreciate you spreading the awareness that needs to be spread.
August 12th, Middle Child's Day.
It's time to
All right.
celebrate.
Well, Quincy, you don't feel left out on this show, do you? I want you to feel appreciated, Quincy.
Thank you, Danielle.
Yeah. We don't want middle children feeling left out. We certainly don't want to forget about our seniors either. So coming up next, we'll look at how one organization is lending a helping hand to our seniors.
Hey guys, welcome back to Main Street Living. Ladies, between the pandemic, inflation, and just the high cost of living, don't you think it's getting a little harder and harder to make ends meet?
Yeah, I feel like it's been that way for a while, and organizations all across the country are working to help provide people with the basics, and food banks have become an invaluable resource.
That's right. And the San Diego Food Bank is working to take care of all of its neighbors. But take a look at the special program they have for seniors who may need a little extra help.
Today, we're here at one of our senior food program distribution sites in Chula Vista, where we're going to be serving over 450 seniors at this one location. The San Diego Food Bank has been around since 1977. We are currently serving over 500,000 people every single month. We were serving 350,000 people throughout all of San Diego County just before the pandemic, so the need has definitely increased. Last year alone, the San Diego Food Bank distributed 60 million pounds of food. That is up significantly, over 60% prior to the pandemic. These numbers are record high numbers that we have seen in the history of the food bank. We anticipate that those numbers are going to continue to rise. And so we are here and wanting to make sure that families know where they can access food, and that folks who want to contribute know how to donate to the food bank to continue to support those 500,000 families every single month. Through this program, we actually distribute food at over 70 different locations throughout San Diego County, ranging from San Isidro all the way up to Fallbrook. And so we really try to make it very easy for seniors who are 60 years and older to enroll in this program and get free food every single month.
I've been coming here for the last 3 years. I'm a low-income person. I'm what they call working poverty. And I just thought, well, maybe I can apply for that. Maybe I can benefit from this. And I thought, well, see if I qualify. And I registered and I did. So this is a great supplement for us. I mean, this helps immensely.
We make it very easy to come on over, enroll in the program, and once you're enrolled in the program, you come through and you get a 35-pound box of food to take home to you and your family.
We get a little bit of fresh fruit, and we get non-perishable, and you can store it. And I tell you, by the end of the month, it's all gone. And by that time, it's ready for us to come up here again. And it's a wonderful program.
Our donations come from all over the place. We have very strong relationships with Vons and Albertsons, for example, but we also have a lot of local partners who distribute fresh produce, folks that also do their own food drives to help support the food bank. And so there are many, many ways to give, and a lot of those partners are here locally.
The staff here is wonderful. When I come up here, everyone says good morning to me. They make me feel well. I don't feel at all like embarrassed at all. They welcome me, and it's just they're willing to help. I feel the volunteers here, staff, care very much.
You know, one of our favorite things on the show is to see people helping people, and I'm sure that you can find this at your local food bank as well.
Mm-hmm.
That is correct. That's correct, Danielle. And you can find more information about the Senior Food Program or any of the programs available from the San Diego Food Bank on their website. That's sandiegofoodbank.org, or pick up your phone, call 866-350-FOOD. That's food.
And we are always here to help out. And guys, don't go anywhere because we are not done quite yet. We've got more Main Street Living after a quick break.
welcome back into Main Street Living for one last time. Hopefully this was an unforgettable show, unlike the Middle Children of America, apparently.
No one can never forget about us. But if you happen to forget about the episodes, you can always catch us on our Cox Contour app.
And as always, we have brand new episodes of Main Street Living Mondays at 9 p.m. local time. So make sure you join us then as we take another stroll down Main Street.